What is up and welcome back, and I'm real proud to bring you this basketball shoe. It's going to be the Adidas OWNTHEGAME 2.0, and this shoe right here, I am going to say off the start that it is a real good general basketball shoe, and we're going to get into all the details. The first thing we want to look at is the aesthetics. I think the shoe looks great for being a basic line. I love the pattern for it. You're going to have this dark black for the back of the shoe, and then you're going to have this blue color for the front, and we can see the three stripes right here on the outer part of the shoe. We turn it around, and on the inside we have the Adidas logo again, but this time it's going to be the name there as well. And like I said, I really dig the design. I have no problems with it. I think it looks real good on feet, right? I think you're going to be styling in the shoe even though it is a budget line, so you're covered there as far as looks go. For the materials, you are going to have this mesh material all throughout the shoe. It is going to be from this point of the shoe wrapping around, turn around, wraps around all the way to around this part. You are going to have this mesh material, but it's going to feel a lot more stiffer. So I like that in a basic line because you do get some structure, and just in the front of the shoe you are going to get a little bit more wiggle, a little bit more flexibility. It's going to feel more thin, but that's not a bad thing because you do have, like we mentioned, some structure from this part all wrapping all the way around just the front. Now, because it is a budget line basketball shoe, you do get a fused materials. You see that a lot in basic lines. We see that on the stripes right here. We see it on the front for durability of the shoe. There's another angle right there. But you also get some stuff that's not so basic. For example, I do like that you have real good support right here for the lacing system. I think it's well made. You have some extra loopholes right here that also help with keeping the shoe a little bit more tighter. But what really surprised me was that this shoe comes with some fly wire. That's right, this shoe comes with some fly wire for a basic line. This could be for this area right here on the top part. Helps this shoe keeps its structure, and I was real surprised to see that again on the basic line. I like that they threw that in there. Alright, and we're back. Sorry about that, camera went out of focus. But I was mentioning, with this shoe, when you tie up the laces, make sure that you have the laces going above the fly wire, like right here, okay? Because if you do have it underneath, as you can tell, when they added this on here, they just cut the ends and then did the threading. You see some of the threading sort of coming undone, okay? But it's not going to be a problem as long as you're having the laces up top when you're making your shoe tight. But if you're constantly not looking and the laces get caught underneath, like right here, and then you're pulling on that, you are going to wear out this area right here, okay? Let's just know that. So it's just something to be mindful of and be aware of, because you don't want your shoe to cut the life of the shoe shorter, right? It is a budget line, and one thing I always mention about budget lines is that they work real good in the beginning, okay? So this shoe right here probably could have worked good for a nice while. I think this shoe can last you a whole season, no problem, right? And just after you play it in the shoe a lot of times, a whole lot of times, just check it out to see if it's performing how you want it to, because you don't want to keep using a basic line if it's not performing anymore, okay? Some of the more higher end shoes that cost a lot more, I mean, they can last a lot longer, so that's a different in price range. So as long as you're using this shoe for your games and maybe using your older shoes to warm up or practice, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of life out of this shoe. Okay, moving on. I do like the pattern of this shoe, right? It is, if we say thin and medium, it's a little bit more just underneath the medium, okay? We have thin padding and medium padding is like right here, okay? But it feels real good on feet for me when I put my foot in here. And Adidas gives you the option of these three loopholes, shoelace loopholes right here. And I mean, it can accommodate a lot of different foot sizes. For me, I moved it up to the top one, but it still felt good on that first one, okay? But with that top one, for my foot shape, this shoe did a real good job of locking down my foot, no problem whatsoever in the ankle area. So I feel a lot of people are, unless maybe you have, I do have a slightly more narrow ankle and I still didn't have any problems. So I feel a lot of you players out there are going to be covered also, okay? Now let's talk about the cushioning system. For the cushioning system, you are going to have light motion right there, midsole, okay? It's going to be very similar to the Light Strike, but I feel this right here, it is also light, like light strike. That's what it's called, light motion, but it does feel a little bit more firmer, just a little bit more. Okay, so they're probably doing that because they're trying to make the shoe last. So they were to put the light strike on the shoe, it's probably going to not last too long, especially if you use it outdoors. Now with this shoe, it being a little bit more firmer, you are going to get more life out of the shoe, and you also get a big sizable amount. Just look at that, that's a good sizable amount. And at first I was kind of thinking like, man, you know, setting kind of high, maybe this shoe might not be too good for a guard, right? Because as a guard or somebody likes to live off the dribble and drive, I mean, you want to be low to the ground so you're explosive. But it's surprising me because look at the front. The front is actually somewhat thin, like this area right here. And when you push off, right, your foot pretty much just ends up being like this part. Your foot makes contact with the ground, and this part is off the ground. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that it has that in it. I was like, okay, you know, it's going to work out. And for landings, I mean, you got all this right here for protection of landings. But again, you're not going to have the most softest landings because this foam is going to be a little bit more firmer. Okay, so have that in mind. But look, big amount to help you out, and then shorter in the front for explosiveness. Now moving on to the traction. Let me turn the shoe this way so you guys can see it a little bit better. It does say Adidas right here, so you are going to have a rubber bottom for this shoe, but it is Adidas, and what that means is if we take a close look, try to get a good angle, I'll do a zoom in effect. The traction is going to have a lot of little abrasions all throughout, and that's real good because it's going to help you just grip that ground real good. And it also has like levels to it, as you can tell through the grooves, right? There's little abrasions all throughout the grooves, and this pattern for this traction is multi-directional all over the place, so you are going to get a real good bite. And trust me, I went onto a dusty court. You can see some dust on the sole already, right? But it was gripping pretty good. I felt that indoors you're not going to have no problems. Outdoors also, this is going to last, right? It's not as soft as other compounds, and it's also not too hard. Sometimes the compounds that are too hard, they last longer, but you don't get that good of grip. Now this right here has you covered, so you are going to get great traction. You're not going to get top tier. Remember, top tier, when you're looking for a shoe that's going to perform indoors, you just get a specific shoe. You get a specific shoe for outdoors. This right here is going to be a nice, great traction for indoors and outdoors. Okay, I don't want to forget to mention that this shoe also comes with a heel clip. Alright, I love that in basketball shoes. You gotta have a heel clip, in my opinion, to make that ankle feel supported and secure, give you that protection. So you are covered in that area. Love that it has some loopholes right here for the back. I mean, some pull tabs for the back and for the front. Easy off and on. I love the quality. I mean, I don't love, but I'm satisfied with the quality of these laces. Okay, they're not like flat. I kind of hate when they're flat laces, but these right here, the quality seems good enough for a basic line, so no complaints there. Now before I go, I do want to talk about comfort and sizing. This shoe felt very good all throughout. The back of the shoe, the middle of the shoe, and the front of the shoe. And for sizing, if you are regular or narrow footed, go a half size down if you like that real snug feel, okay, without hurting the side of your shoes. Go a half size down for that snug feel. If you like a little bit of extra room, go to the size if you're regular or narrow footed. Now if you are wide footed like myself, make sure you go to the size if you like that snug feel. Okay, to the size if you are a wide footer, if you like that snug feel. And if you like a little bit of extra room, go a half size up, or if you're extra wide. So that's going to have you covered. So this shoe right here, like we mentioned, is a shoe I recommend definitely for a nice general basketball shoe. It does a little bit of everything. Love the aesthetics. The price is only $70 USD. So I mean, you can't go bad with a $70 basketball shoe that can do a little bit of everything. So with that said, thank you so much for stopping by, and like always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.